But at the same time, there are real crises. Two crises, the debt, national debt crisis, and some banking crisis. And instead of addressing this crisis as such, the international community and the Anglo-Saxon financial community prefer to present it as being a crisis of the euro. For instance, the Greek situation has nothing to do with the euro. They dilapidated their budget in extravagant way. Personally, I do regret that Greece was accepted in the Eurozone. It was good to accept it in the Euro system, that is the great Europe, the market, and all that, members. But to accept them in the Eurozone was irresponsible, I would say. And it was supported by France, opposed by Germany, and we were preferred to lose. But it has nothing to do with the euro. The question was, at the beginning, do we prefer to have a country which is so ill administered, leave the zone, create our own currency, a new drachma, and organize its solvability, or do we prefer to keep it and to support it? And this debate lasted for 2 years and has been demoralizing people because it was contradictory. If we accepted the idea that Greece must go out from the it could be organized. It could be organized. The Bank of Greece will issue new drachma. They will pay the civil servants and the public expenditures in Europe. It can be done. But the people of the financial community were afraid. They thought if this happens, there will be a sort of domino effect, and all the old countries will have fear of losing their financial balance. But at the same time, they did not accept the idea that if they don't leave, we must pay. It's not possible to have a country which is bankrupt, which we keep the system, without the other members paying. It's impossible. So we were in contradiction for 2 years, and it was well difficult with the meeting of the last chance every three months. There will be another one in the fall, probably. But to go back to your question, we have the debt crisis, which is not finished, in fact, and in which France could be involved in the thinking of the bankers of New York. They always hoped that it would be possible to attack the franc, the euro in France. They hoped because it's true that if it's possible, the euro will be in danger. The fact that Greece has a problem and the Irish behaved rather cleverly and went out of the crisis. But it didn't want a threat for the euro. The franc would be a threat for the euro because the euro is basically Germany and France. So if there were some difficult problems in France, it could create a situation in which there would be a contestation or a threat for the euro. So it's a reason for which even the political issues of France now are important for the future of the euro.
As an American, I wonder if you could maybe draw some lessons of what the introduction of a single currency in America was and how that might fit in Europe. Because I think we were speaking earlier today, you said, you know, there's many states in the United States which have deep debt problems. California, my home state, is bankrupt. Yet nobody discusses California leaving the dollar. Nobody discusses the end of the dollar. So I wonder if you think that there's a way to get past this crisis using some of the examples from using the history of the States?
Well, it will be very brief because it's simple. You have another argument against the euro advanced by the financial press, telling it's impossible to have the same currency in very rich country, or rich country, and very poor country, like the rich country of the north of Europe, the poor country of the Balkans. It's impossible, it cannot exist. Well, but at the same time, you have China, in which the difference of wealth between the coast and the interior, 20 times the difference we have in Europe. And they have a single currency. And no one says it's impossible. For the US, the difference of the level of income from certain states to the opposite are larger than what we have in Europe. And they have states, as Eliloche said, which are in deficit, and no one questions the dollar. So it's a very strange approach. Because normally, up to now, there hasn't been a problem for the euro, practically. A problem for states, for banks, and for the euro. So if there is not an additional problem, and of course it may happen, but I hope it will not happen, the euro is safe and will go on its career. The people in Britain who are against the euro, and probably a majority of you, don't realize the disorder created by the disappearance of the euro. You will have a continent in total monetary disarray, with countries devaluating not once, but every 6 months, some countries obliged to reevaluate, like Germany and the northern countries. All what is founded of single price will become impossible to keep, because the price will move with the currencies. So it will create a commotion, a negative commotion in Europe, which will be extremely severe. And so I think that our neighbor British have the same interest as we have, that the euro survive. They could have opinion about the future use of the euro, and there is no demand in Europe, you must know this, that Britain joined the euro. It was the British idea a few years ago. I remember having a conversation with the Prime Minister this time in 2002, at the moment when he expected to adopt the euro for Great Britain, and to even, remember this, to have a referendum in Britain to introduce the euro. Well, there is no more demand. So the European are accustomed now to the system, and accept the fact that the British are not members. There are no tensions on this. But on the other hand, there is a sort of solidarity, because I must say very, very frankly, that the destruction of the euro will create problems all over Europe, including the UK.
So that's a little bit of the conversation that we had with former French President Valéry Giscard d'Estaing in 2012 in the Houses of Commons. I'm Edie Lush.